All right, everybody. What's up? This is Keith Corbliss, and I'm here with my co-host, John Moynihan,
What's
aka
going on,
JMO.
everybody? What's up? What's up? What's going on?
And we're back here at the War Room.
Love changing
This time
pace.
around, we don't have a guest this week. We're gonna kind of do a little bit of a change of pace, JMO, and I kind of want to get into the off season because,
Yeah,
obviously free agents are eligible now to sign with their respective teams. A lot of interesting stuff going on. This is going to be kind of a strange offseason to say the least in terms of what teams are doing because of the lost season and the lost revenue that they were going to be able to build. While most I think are going to be fine, I want to know what you think about this, but I definitely can see some teams um kind of not giving the biggest contracts due to the lost season. Obviously, Mookie Betts got his big deal. He was going to be a free agent after the season, but I mean, the Dodgers, have money coming out of their,
you know
brains
what?
everywhere. So it's they're not affected by it that much. But what about like the smaller market teams? What do you kind of think about that with these upcoming guys?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, especially this offseason. We've seen in off seasons past and the way that baseball's gone in free agency, where teams will just wait it out and wait it out and wait it out until somebody comes down with a number. Players go in and say, "I want 120 over five," and teams are like, "We'll give you 80 for five." And then it's also a comfort thing too, obviously, for players where it's like, "This really sucks." Like having to sit there and wait it out, wait it out, wait it out, not know where I'm playing, not know where I'm going to live, and then end up taking that deal instead of it being 5 for 20 at the beginning, they take it five for who knows 80 or 100 million, and they lose out
Right.
on that money. I think it's going to be especially key now. Obviously, like you touched on with the lost revenue, the lost season, there are teams that are they were debating about paying their minor league guys or not to begin this
I know
season.
it's
So you,
this
I,
season will definitely change the landscape for at least a few years
I think
due
so too.
to
It's
that because it was very unexpected revenue that they lost, and they lost pretty severely. Especially the smaller market teams, of course.
absolutely, yeah, and
Um,
it's going to be tough for those teams to keep even their free agents at this. I feel
right.
like. And there's some good guys, there are good players that are going to come out in free agency this year. We're going to touch on it a little bit. Um, I feel like not a super young free agent class either, to be completely honest.
No, it's kind of a little bit of an aging one per se. Not aging, but they're not in there. It wasn't like the offseason last year when you had the 26-year-old Bryce Harper, the 27-year-old, Manny Machado signing for monster contracts. But one thing you kind of did touch on, which I think is honestly a good starting point. We'll get into the free agents a little later in the segment, but the not teams not being able to hold on to their star players. And of course, probably many of you listening know that Francisco Lindor is pretty much confirmed to be traded at some point this offseason. He is just turned 27 the other day. To be honest, he's a franchise player. He is a great leader in the locker room. People love his energy. People love his positivity. He keeps the game fun, an elite fielder ever since he came up. And of course, he can swing the stick a little bit. What do you think? I've heard Mets, I've heard Yankees, I've heard potentially Blue Jays. I've heard a lot of different teams, at least from analysts and people alike, saying that those are some possibilities. Where do you think he goes? And do you think he gets traded? Because I 100% think he will be in a different uniform.
I think so too. I mean, it's kind of strange too because the Cleveland Indians were the leading team in the Central for a little while.
I
For
know.
the past couple of seasons with their rotation, you have Kluber, you had uh, Mike
Bauer.
Clevenger, who you traded to, you had Bauer, you had Clevenger, you traded to the Padres, who's going to miss this coming season with Tommy John surgery. Uh, You just kind of like fell apart, to be completely honest. I mean, you still have Carlos Carrasco, you still have an aging Corey Kluber. You're still competitive, but you're not going to be as competitive without Francisco Lindor, your franchise dude. And like you touched upon, great locker room guy, great baseball player in general, brings energy to the game. There isn't a team that I wouldn't say isn't in on a Francisco Lindor. To be completely honest with you, it's the same thing where it's like everybody's in on Bryce Harper and everybody's in on Manny Machado.
For sure. I mean,
And
any team will take this guy no matter what.
yeah,
If get presented the opportunity, some do not make sense. I want to say I was looking at it and kind of doing some research and seeing what people have been saying. I kind of agree with this statement that um I don't think a small market team should be able to should want to go get him. The reason why I
Yeah,
say this is because they're going to have to give up pieces that they need for the future. And let's be real, he's not going to want to stay for, the 7 years, and he's going to want the 7 years, $280 million contract that, to be honest with you, big market teams are going to be the only ones that are going to pay.
yeah, and
Just the reality
especially
of the sport.
yeah,
As a
even
small
with
market, you need to be able to develop those players for your 7 year, 5 year window.
yeah, especially you look at small markets such as the one that comes to mind is Tampa Bay. They just do it every single time. It's like we
Right.
just got to
They're
develop
fine.
guys and just kind of hopefully hit in a window that they're young enough that we have them under club control, and as soon as they hit free agency, it's like, yeah, that's kind of it pretty much. The
Mm-hmm.
only guy that I can remember really sticking around would be David Price and Evan Longoria. They
Longoria signed a long term deal, but they don't
yeah
give that often. I mean, he's a franchise player, though, so that's why they did it.
yeah, and it's just gonna be tough for them to one fork over the money. I just don't think I think they need to move the team out of Tampa. It's just simple. They don't the ballpark's ass. They don't bring in any fans. Nobody wants them there, to be completely honest.
No,
At
no
least
one
that's what
does.
it
They're going
seems
to
like.
move.
Yeah, they need to go up to Montreal. If they were
They're,
in Montreal, they'd be in on
they're
Francisco
too good of a
Lindor.
team for no one to watch.
Yeah, it's
That's
ridiculous.
pretty much how it is, dude.
For those of you who don't know about the Tampa Bay Rays, you can probably get a nosebleed seat and sit front row. That's how empty the ballpark
Yeah,
is every
for
single night.
sure. They don't.
It's
They don't
terrible.
average anybody. I think they probably average like 20,000 fans,
Yeah,
which is
it's
nothing.
terrible.
So let's backtrack a little bit real quick, because we kind of got a little off topic.
Yeah,
I want to say Lindors. So I think that right now, what I've been hearing is the Yankees and Mets are the front runners to New
yeah,
York. Two big market teams. Mets obviously got a new owner who is ready to shell out the cash. Let's just say that he's ready to bring the Mets back into relevancy. Um, After a few years of World Series in 15, but
mhm,
since that they haven't been good. I mean, they
yeah,
haven't. They've been okay. So I want to say let's think of some potential trade packages that you would see. I'll start off with the Yankees just because I'm a Yankee guy, so I've been really figuring out what's the ideal situation probably for the Yankees and for Cleveland as well. What do you think about? I was thinking of um, maybe I was looking at a Miguel Andujar, a Clint Frazier, and then maybe a piece or two after that with some lower level prospects for Lindor on a 1 year deal. I would take that pretty much in a heartbeat.
yeah.
I don't know if
Especially
most Yankee fans would, but I'm saying that Clint Frazier has a lot of promise. Miguel Andujar obviously can swing the stick. Both can at high levels. They're two starters on pretty much any other team besides the Yankees at this point. They both have many years of control. I think the one thing for me though is that if Lindor would agree to sign that 7 year contract afterwards and like kind of almost because they can do that, they can sign and trade. He would probably, he would say, okay, I'll sign that 7 year extension with you guys once this trade finalizes. Then I'm full sending that no matter what.
yeah,
What do you
I
think?
agree. I agree. I think especially this past season, granted it was a shortened season, but you have the injuries in the outfield to Stanton and Judge, and Clint Frazier was able to come in, and he said it himself. He's kind of changed his attitude a little bit being in New York, where it's like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to replace either one of those guys, but I'm going to play my game and be the best that I can be. And he showed that, and he showed a lot of promise too. And he was supposed to be that guy coming up. And once he got traded to the Yankees, it was kind of up and down, lack of productivity. In this season, he really showed it and said, "Hey, I'm this guy." And Miguel Andujar has shown that too. I mean, both can swing the stick really well, play pretty solid defense. Um, I think that it would be a good trade for Cleveland, especially with those guys under club control. Looking at their outfield, they could definitely use the corner outfielder in Clint Frazier, and then hopefully putting Miguel Andujar in there at shortstop at least for the time being. Granted, he's usually plays third base and second base for the Yankees, correct?
Miguel.
Yeah,
Miguel played third and first,
third and first. So
and he
you have a
plays a little bit
corner.
of left.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's more. I think he's athletic enough to play shortstop. You're certainly not moving Jose Ramirez over to play shortstop. It's
No,
just not
no,
going to
no,
happen.
no. Definitely not. I think Miguel, yeah, he would probably slot somewhere in the infield, maybe even in the outfield. But I was thinking of, that's definitely been one trade that's been thrown around. Honestly, like as
And the shortstop class isn't very deep this year either for the Indians if they trade Francisco
no,
Lindor.
it's not. There's a few that are definitely serviceable and can play, but there's no one elite in terms of that. But I think that Cleveland just has an issue with they I don't know what they want to do with Jose Ramirez. I mean, he's a stud, obviously.
Mm.
And, maybe it's just their time to rebuild, find some young guys like Clint Frazier. I think that he really can, a change of scenery might do him some good
It's kind of crazy that we're talking about a rebuild for the Indians
for a
because
first place team.
yeah, and it's
I know.
just like at some point it comes with every team. It's like eventually you're gonna have to shell out the money to go get somebody to
You're
get
going to
you
have to
over that
shell out the
hump.
money or break it down.
Yeah, or break it down again and then get ready to shell out the money. You
Right.
can't just keep doing this and just trading away your star guy. And granted, you're like, oh, we're in contention. Yeah, you're in contention, sure, but you're not going to win anything. No
Right.
offense. You got to go out there and get somebody. You could have kept Mike Clevenger. You didn't do that. Like, you had a very good
They
starting
had a
rotation.
great pitching staff and they overall had a really good team, and they easily could have been a World Series contender for the last like 5 years, and they did make it to one World Series. Obviously the Cubs took them out, but that team definitely, I think it's time to break it down. If they don't want to pay those contracts, break it down,
Yeah.
reset,
You need to
give.
find a new management, to be completely honest. I feel like if you're just going to keep doing this whole thing, it's like the fans aren't going to be happy. I don't think the fans are happy now hearing that Francisco Lindor's on the trade block.
No, I
Like,
wouldn't be either. I mean, he's the most beloved player,
yeah.
but they're considered a small market team. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's just the way it rolls sometimes. But what do you think about? I've heard the Mets. Steve Cohen, obviously the new owner, wants to make a splash right away. I mean,
He
he's
needs
got
to.
the finances to do that.
Yeah.
Do you think that realistically that he's going to go hard after the Mets, and do you see any potential trade packages coming their way?
I think that if you're the Mets, you need to go in on Francisco Lindor. You need to, no offense to Robinson Cano, but I feel like you need to just pay his contract out and tell him to kick rocks at
Robbie had
this
a good
point.
year this year, though.
Like
60 games, he
he
played well.
did 60 games, yeah, but he's what, like 35, something like that. I don't
Now
even
they do
know.
have two
He's
shortstop options though. Ahmed Rosario, who obviously got the bench, and then who's the other guy?
uh
Uh,
Wilmer Flores.
no, 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 he's on the Giants. Um,
Uh
who's their other shortstop? Oh, Jimenez.
I,
Um, he's one of their top prospects, but he's
yeah.
pretty talented as well. He had a good 60 games. Also, I think that the Mets. Well, actually, we'll kind of tie this into also what we've been talking about with free agency. So the Mets are pretty interesting. I think that they definitely should give it a real shot to go after Lindor, trade some prospects. I know they made a
Absolutely.
mistake with trading Jared Kelenic to the Mariners for Cano and Diaz. They definitely all regret that because he's a top 10 prospect in the game.
Yeah.
But I think that Lindor's a different type of player. I think you go trade some prospects, figure out what's what, maybe package a major league talent, maybe Rosario,
Yeah,
right?
I think you have to. I mean, look at it. You have easily probably the best starting pitcher in the past 5 years, that being Jacob DeGrom, or at least
No
top two
doubt.
in my opinion.
No
You
doubt.
have Noah Syndergaard. You have Marcus Stroman, who just
Accepted the
accepted his
qualifying offer.
qualifying offer. So there's
Yep.
your three-headed monster right there. Never mind your other guys that you have in the rotation. And then you look at it, you got Michael Conforto, Brandon Nimmo, Pete
Dominic Smith had a
Alonso,
good year.
Dominic Smith too. You have guys that are right there, and I think
JD
this team's on
Davis.
the JD Davis as well. You have a lot of pieces, and you should be right there, and you just haven't reached that yet since 2015.
So that's my thing too. So I think that Lindor is a no-brainer for any team. I think most likely I could see him going to either New York team or I could see him going to a budding Toronto Blue Jays squad. I could really see that happening because they
Really,
have the prospects. They have an infield. I mean, Vladimir is going to go to first.
you think
Kavan
so?
Biggio could play
He's
third.
he's been losing a lot of weight, dude. He says he wants to play third, and I think he can.
I think he can, but I'm saying I think that Biggio moves to third, right? You have
Yeah,
Bichette. Um, I mean, Bichette can go to shortstop, and he plays there, obviously. But
yeah,
with the Lindor trade, shift him to second. He'll just be just as good. Bichette is right now the best player in that team.
yeah.
It's
I
not Vladdy,
agree.
it's Bichette.
I just, I mean, you could. I don't
Now,
know.
do I say that in 2 years? Probably not. But I'm saying
No.
right now, Bichette is a growing star in this league. And I think that with the addition of Lindor, I think the Blue Jays are ready to make a splash.
I guess, but I don't know if that's the right move. I think that you need to let this young core grow together. And I'm not saying that they're going to trade away somebody to get Francisco Lindor, but I think that if Vlad wants to play third at least stick him there for now. I mean, he looked. I mean, I saw a picture on Twitter, and he was down a lot of weight. And he
No, he
looked
looks
thin
good.
and athletic. That he's going to be ready to go. And he admitted himself. He's like, I wasn't ready, and I was fat and out of shape, and I let the team down. It's like, all right, well, hey, at least you're holding yourself accountable.
And he's pretty talented as well with the he can swing
Yeah,
it.
he can. And
um,
I just think if he's comfortable playing third base, like don't move him to first base. Let him play third. That's where he's most comfortable. He's going to play his best because that's his position. I think the same thing with Bichette. It's like let him play shortstop. He's played really well for you guys. I just don't know where they would put Francisco Lindor.
has to play him a shortstop. Bichette goes a second. There's really no other option.
I don't know. If I were the Blue Jays, I'd just allocate my resources somewhere else. I think that
It's fair.
because
I've
I
heard
think
Springer.
yeah, they could definitely use another outfielder after getting rid of Kevin Pillar. I think that Springer's a good fit there in center field. I think that you can go and sign a starting pitcher to help bolster the rotation a little bit behind Nate Pearson. Kid's an absolute stud. I think
Ryu's pretty good too. Had a
Ryu
great year.
pitched well. Yeah, I was surprised about Ryu this year, honestly,
So
switching
was
from the
I.
NL to NL, and he was able to kind of dominate a little bit.
But if you really look at the stats, like we shouldn't be because like he is quietly. I'll pull it up right now. He is quietly put together
Quite the career.
um great career.
Yeah, but you think about it too. It's like he's kind of lost in every single rotation because he was with the Dodgers and he was like the
I know.
fourth guy, and like now all of a sudden he pops in the scene. Or last 2 seasons ago, he came in. He was pitching like a 1.9 into August. It was ridiculous.
JMO, since his debut, since 2013, his career ERA is a 2.95.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's put that together real quick. A 2.95. And he's a one-time All-Star. He has one ERA title under his belt. He's a legit
guy, and it's
a
not like
legit performer on any squad, and it's been shown.
Yeah, and the one
he
thing
pitches in the AL East, and he's done a good job.
The one thing I give him credit for too is like going from obviously the NL where you have the pitcher batting. Well, you did have the pitcher batting, not anymore.
Oh no, he has to face a 9-hitter every single time.
Exactly, and part of it too is like he was able to go into the AL and just not change how he pitched. He's like, nope. I'm going to stick to who I am as a pitcher, and
doesn't throw anywhere. He locates well. Has good curveball, very slow curveball. Throws about 89 to 90 miles an hour, but that's all he needs. Great changeup. That's all he needs. And he gets it done. And he is good for any squad. If I'm putting him out there, he's an opening. He gets the opening day bump for the Jays.
I think so.
Coming up.
I mean, you put him out there. You just need somebody. I think that the Jays could go after Jake Odorizzi. I think that the Nationals could go after Jake Odorizzi. There are plenty of teams, and this guy is a formidable starter. All-Star last year, banged up this year in a 60-game season. Tough, blister, bruised ribs.
He kind of hides. He kind of hides behind those big names, which is like not a bad thing.
And he pitched well with the Rays too when he was down in Tampa Bay. I just think that he's really come out and blossomed this past not 2020 but 2019. He came out. He was an All-Star. This year was banged up through 60 games. It's like I think he had like 4 starts maybe.
So he did not. Number. And look, 2020, we all have to realize is it shouldn't be super heavily
valued.
Yeah, that should not impact. Look, Bauer, Rio Muto, obviously those guys have a track record. I mean, even Bauer, you can look at it, and Bauer has had some rough seasons in the past, but when he puts it together, he's dominant as ever, and he put it together this past season.
Yeah,
especially obviously winning the Cy Young. So I mean, we kind of talked about Lindor trade, what we kind of think, some packages potentially for a few teams. Let's just kind of go into free agency because there's a few interesting ones, obviously. Well, first off, we'll start off with JT Realmuto. Where do you think he is? I think, to be honest with you, he's a no-brainer number 1 catcher in the MLB. He does well with the stick. He's probably the only catcher at this point in time that I'm comfortable hitting in the 3 or 4 spot, and he has an elite glove.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where this guy ends up, especially I think that he was pretty sick of Philly as soon as he got there, to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he wants to be in Philly. Obviously, declined the qualifying offer from the Phillies. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. I think
the Mets.
You think the Mets as well?
I've seen Mets. I really do think Steve Cohen. A lot of people are telling me, like my Mets fan, my friends that are Mets fans say, no, they want to wait for, extensions. I'm saying I'm a new owner. I
Yeah.
got a lot
I
of money behind me, and I've come out and said publicly that, hey, we're not taking the bargain free agents anymore that we hope do well. We're
yeah.
going to go after the cream of the crop. We're going to, and I hate to say it. I mean, we got the Yankees on back here. He wants to scare the Yankees.
Yeah. I mean, it's
He
always
wants to, and I'm not saying that's his main thing, obviously, but I'm saying he wants to make a splash. He wants, New Yorkers and, people of the fan of the team, fan of opposing teams to know that, hey, like, we're just as good as a spot as the Yankees are. We're
yeah,
not
I
the
mean,
little brothers anymore.
exactly. It goes back to the whole thing where it's like it's only a good rivalry when both teams are good. Yankees, Mets, Sox,
Right.
Yankees, Yankees, Orioles to an extent even. Like it's only a good rivalry when both teams are good.
I've seen, yeah, I've seen the Mets. I think it's a no-brainer for the Mets, to be honest. They do not have a catching option.
They don't really. It
Um, I mean, like, where do you, where you, who else would you, I mean, might as well just go after the top of the top, sign them to I'd probably say somewhere around 5 years, $125 million contract. You probably will accept that.
yeah, it's tough. I mean, he's 30 years old.
That's okay.
That's okay, yeah, but
That's three
I'm just
years of
thinking
catching.
that's true. But then it's like, where are you gonna put him? First base, you have Pete Alonso there. Third
Figure
base,
it out when it happens.
he's
That's
probably
what I
not too
say.
athletic to play third base. Yeah,
Also, the
but
DH might be a thing.
that's
Yeah,
true.
no.
I think if there's one team, obviously the Reds can't really do anything. They have who's the catcher for the Reds? He won a Gold Glove this year too. It was the second one. He's like one of
Kirk
the guy.
Casale.
Yeah, no, not Kirk Casale.
Um,
Um, I don't think it was Kirk. No, there's no way it was Kirk Casale. There was somebody else who won a Gold Glove for the Reds this year at catching. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Tucker Barnhart.
Yeah, Tucker Barnhart.
Okay.
He you have him there and he can swing it a little bit, but primarily defensive guy. I think that the one team who could go out and get somebody, honestly, the Braves need to spend a little bit of money. I would say
Braves,
the Atlanta
sure.
Braves.
Um, I've seen, so according to CBS, I just looked up where some of them think that JT fits. I see back to the Phillies, possibly, of course. We see two Mets. People want to say the Mets, and then the Nationals. That's an interesting one as well.
Yeah,
Didn't
that's
think about
true.
that. Have a great pitching staff. They need a bat, definitely. They're winnable. I mean, obviously, Juan Soto, Trey Turner. They're a
Yeah.
good squad. Victor Robles is gonna, I think, eventually figure it out. Um, that's interesting, but I'm putting my money on the Mets right now. I really do think that Steve Cohen's gonna go and go get some guys. I'm not. I'm.
No, I agree. I think he's gonna get some guys. It's just a matter of like, it's a matter of fit too. I feel
I think it's a
like
great fit though. They don't have a catcher.
that's true, but at the same time, it's like, does he want to? I mean, he didn't like Philly. I mean, who knows? I mean, the Big Apple could be a better place, but
Yeah.
he's coming from Miami too. I don't know. I don't know if he even likes the big city or not, because I feel like if you went from Miami to Philly, it's kind of like a smaller city. There's not a whole lot of like, obviously Miami stunk when he was there, but like
Right.
go from a big city to a small city. Now you want out of the small city. So it's like, where do you want to go? Or who knows? Maybe he likes Philadelphia. He just declined the qualifying offer. He's like, I want more money. Who knows?
Possibly. I
Yeah.
think I think the Phillies and Mets are definitely going to be the two front runners for him is at this point in time because the Phillies. I mean, they still want to win. I mean, you have Bryce Harper on that massive contract. They're not gonna shy away from trying to win it
Yeah.
all every
They
year.
can't they
They
can't
can't.
fold.
Yeah, they can't. Let's talk about a few other guys. What do you think about George Springer? That's kind of an interesting one. I don't think he'll be back with the Astros.
Yeah, I think he's earned enough coin. I mean, he's gonna get paid. He has enough credit and he's been a really good player. Even after the cheating scandal, he was a solid
He
player.
proved this year that cheating he can still hit when he doesn't cheat.
Yeah.
He had
I th-
14 home runs in did he play 51 games, 14 home runs. Pretty good.
yeah, it was. I think the Astros need him more than he needs the Astros at this point.
I think the Astros time is coming to an end.
Yeah, it's definitely dwindling.
I think Kyle
Especially
Tucker's really talented, really young, but I think with Altuve noticeably declining, heading into year age 33, I want to say.
Yeah, he's an older
Um,
player.
Bregman obviously still a stud, but I mean, you can't have just one. I think
Exactly.
I think Springer should definitely take the opportunity to go get the bag, pretty much.
So Jose's 30. Jose's 30. And he had a little bit of drop off this year, sure, because of the I don't know, the whole cheating thing and like who knows what it was in the playoffs. It was unbelievable. He just couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens, I guess. But I don't know. I think that the Astros time, the window is dwindling, and I think they've had this issue for a while with their outfield too. You have so many prospects that are talented that are trying to make their major league debut, and they can't because the outfield's too loaded. And then you don't trade anybody away, and then people get mad. And so I think that right now is a perfect time for George Springer to leave, get out of Houston, go get the bag, and they have plenty of guys that will hopefully turn into who knows the next George Springer. Like you said, Kyle Tucker, pretty talented player who's been coming off the bench for like the past 3 years.
Still got Jordan Alvarez. I think they'll be okay, but I don't think that they're going to be at the same level as the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Rays. I um I just think that I don't know. I see Springer going after, his $100 million deal. I want to say that he's going to probably sit around 100.
I think so too, but it's just a matter of who's willing to spend what kind of money.
I
Because
see
I mean,
again, Mets back in it. Giants need an outfielder.
the Giants need an outfielder really bad. Yeah,
Giants have always been needing an outfielder for the past like few years. I see White Sox. That's a great signing.
yeah. And they have
If
some
I'm
young
him, I'm going
outfielders
to
too.
White Sox.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's just a matter if you want to live in Chicago. It's cold up there.
Yeah, pretty much. But if I'm him, I'm joining Eloy Jimenez. I'm
Hey,
joining Luis Robert, who's going to be he had a rookie wall the second half of the 60 games, but he's going to be a superstar.
yeah. I mean, there's no
And I'm
if
and
you
I'm
want to.
joining that squad because that's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah,
If I
they're
want to live
just
in Chicago, if I think that's the right move and I like Chicago enough, I am joining a young team that needs a veteran star player, 30 years old, not
yeah,
that old, but enough to be able to guide that young group into contention. And obviously they were this year, but obviously Jose Abreu. Are you kidding? Like the team is so well rounded.
yeah. It really is, and it was cool. I mean, we touched upon it in the first episode way back, where it's like they were making a run, and it's like it's all business. And it's the same thing. And I think if you can go out and add George Springer, there's no reason not to. So go out and spend some money. You guys are right there. You just need one piece.
Yeah, open up the
That's the
checkbook a
piece.
little bit. It's okay.
Yeah. And we saw it with Garrett
Um,
Crockett too, coming out of the bullpen.
right.
Hopefully
They
he's
have
on the
so
team.
many good pieces. I think they might need to add one starter.
Yeah, I agree.
Keuchel had
Especially
a
with
good
it.
year, but he's older now. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that he still will consistently pitch in the threes somewhere, but he's not an ace
Yeah.
anymore.
Michael
I think
Kopech's
that
there. You
Kopech,
could
yep, coming
you
off an
could go
injury.
out and add Jago Odorizzi, who's pitched
Giolito's
well.
a stud.
Giolito. Yep.
Odorizzi could honestly be a great fit for them.
Yeah.
That's a good fit, honestly. Um, and we'll talk about a few others just along the way. All right, here's the biggest one, honestly, in my opinion. Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, this is gonna be exciting to see where this man lands. This is gonna
He
be
has been
crazy.
listed. He's a Southern California kid. Went to UCLA with Garrett Cole. What a rotation that must have been.
Yeah.
Um, he's listed as he likes the Mets. You know that. He likes the Yankees, at least to some extent. He's not
Yeah.
afraid of the spotlight, so I think he can easily pitch there with Garrett Cole, and that'll be the.
I thought him and Cole had beef.
He squashed it. He said that they squashed it a while back. He said that was 9 and
Oh,
10 years ago. He said it's fine. I'll sign with the Yankees. It's not Garrett Cole. He's not impacting me. If
yeah.
anything, why would it impact them having Trevor Bauer, having Garrett Cole, Trevor Bauer, and Luis Severino as a 1-2-3? Good luck.
Yeah.
Like good luck.
Yeah, that's true.
We see the Angels. They need a big. They offer Garrett Cole $300 million.
Yeah, they need to go out
They
and
are
get
going to spend. They
they
haven't had
they need a
a
lot of
quote
help.
unquote a starter since I don't even know when. Maybe Jared Weaver, but
Yeah,
like
it's Jared
even
Weaver way
that,
back when.
that's
Even
like
that wasn't great, but like at least he was formidable and got the job done as their ace, if you will. But like
right.
Jesus Christ, you need to go out and spend some money. I mean, they already spent money on Trout and Rendon,
Well,
but
that's my thing.
crying out loud. I know that they tied up a lot of money into those players, but it's like you needed to. You
That's my
needed them.
thing here is with the Angels, right? They struck out. I give them credit. you offered $300 million to Eric Cole. He decided to take the extra $25 million and he go sign with a better team.
Yeah.
Can't blame him. And you have to give applause to the Angels making that effort. You
Yeah, at
don't
least
offer $300 million. They got Rendon. I mean,
yeah, at least
they
they
were
were in on
they were
somebody.
legit prepared to spend $500 million this offseason on two players. This past offseason.
Which was needed. They needed to hit on
100%. But let's
everybody.
just think about that. They're willing to open up the checkbook.
Yeah, thank God. The first time in like forever. I mean, they've been known to open up the checkbook in the past, but
They made a
always-
mistake doing that. Josh Hamilton, CJ Wilson, and Albert Pujols.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
That was a big mistake.
That
but they learned their lesson. And Rendon's great.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't fault him back then, but it's like, I mean, 2020 hindsight, it's like that was really terrible contracts. But
in my TikTok, I said that the Mets have a chance for Bauer. I want to say that I still think that is the case, just because Steve Cohen is he has to be so unpredictable right now. It could either go one way where he goes out and spends $500 million this offseason to say, all right, guys, the Mets are back and like right now. Or he waits another year and signs the extensions to Conforto, because Conforto is a great player. He needs an extension.
Yeah. I just don't think that they need Trevor Bauer, to be completely honest with you.
I'd say it's more of a want.
Yeah, that's fair.
In my opinion. So that's why I'm saying Cohen's probably like, all right, let's like try to go out and get these guys because we want them. But here's my thing. I think the Angels could be a decent spot.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like with the Mets, with Marcus Stroman, like going to be from the number 1 in Toronto to the number 3 in New York, and now you might be the number 4 if they had Trevor Bauer. It's like, I don't know.
Great.
It's great, but I feel like Marcus Stroman kind of has an attitude where it's like, if you go and sign Trevor Bauer, he's like, trade me.
I highly doubt that Stroman will be affected by Trevor Bauer coming in, only because he's a 4, but he's one hell of a 4.
I guess.
That is a rotation with 2 Cy Young Award candidates. Syndergaard, if he puts it all together and stays healthy, is a Cy Young Award candidate. And then Stroman, who is a all-star level pitcher when fully healthy and puts it together.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't.
I just feel like there's a lot of personalities.
Sure. Trevor Bauer is a big personality.
Yeah.
In a good way, I think, to be honest with you.
Sometimes.
I think that the Angels are interesting. I've seen the Padres. I've seen the Yankees. I've seen everybody. I've seen the Red Sox. I've seen he wants to go to a contender and he wants to sign somewhat short term. And I don't think that he's going to take his, how he made that bet where it's 1 year, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's the case.
I don't think he's going to do that. I think he needs to go
He's playing with too much money and long-term money to
screw up and take a 1 year
take a 1 year, $38 million contract. That's a crap ton of money. We understand that. He can live off the rest of his life with that 1 year. But why wouldn't you take the 4 years at $35 million a year?
Yeah.
Injuries happen. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You get hurt, and now it's like you're down the drain. You're going to sign a 1 year like for
look at
12,
Stroman.
15, 20.
Stroman wasn't going to accept the qualifying offer.
Yeah.
He only did that because he got hurt. And, credit to him, honestly, for doing that, because now he makes $18.9 million.
Yeah.
This season.
That if there's anybody, I feel like, obviously, the Padres should be going in on Trevor Bauer, especially with the news coming down of losing Clevenger for the year.
That's a heck of a signing if they do that.
Yeah. And then now, all of a sudden, you add Clevenger back into the rotations. Now you have Trevor Bauer at 1, Mike Clevenger at 2, Chris Paddock at 3. And now all of a sudden, you're getting deeper and deeper. Plus, you have prospects that are coming up.
Mm-hmm. I think that Trevor Bauer really needs to take Southern California, also from Cali. Remember that.
Yeah.
I think he really needs to take a look at San Diego and say, okay, hold up. We have top 10 player in the game, Tatis.
Yeah.
I think he solidified himself. Not a full season yet, but the first 2, are pretty special seasons.
Yeah. And you have
Machado coming off a rough 2019 or to his standards to an awesome 2020.
Yeah. I mean,
hitting 290, doing what he does. He's back. He's fully adjusted to San Diego in the ballpark. He's 100% back. Hosmer coming back off of a, rough 18 and 19, 2020. Great. Will Myers.
Yeah. Will Myers showed up to play.
Trent Grisham
came out of nowhere.
The names go on and on. Austin Nola had a great
Yeah,
year.
he
Catcher.
did.
The
Then went on
names go on
Gosnell.
and on.
I just
Then
feel like they showed that they're not afraid to spend money. So why not just spend money on something that you need,
AJ
especially
Preller has
now?
never been scared to spend that dough.
Yeah,
He
I
does
think
not
it's a.
care.
I think Trevor Bauer to the Padres would be a really good fit. And
I think so
especially when you
too.
get Clevenger who re-ups for 2 years. Okay, great. You're gonna that 1 year's like a wash pretty much because he's hurt. But
Right, but they did that on purpose because he's going
yeah,
to be a free agent.
yeah,
I think that it's a great signing for the Padres.
I think so too.
They would have realistically Bauer at 1. Who's the number 2?
It would be Clevenger at that point when he's healthy, but it'd be Chris Paddock.
Clevenger, Paddock, Mackenzie Gore is probably going to make the rotation by April.
Yeah,
I think they'll do the 2 weeks and then throw him back up there because he didn't
Mhm.
make his debut at all. So I think that he was just getting ready.
Yeah,
Mackenzie Gore is projected to be better than Clevenger and Paddock.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Paddock's a solid pitcher. He doesn't necessarily bring like the. I mean, he can run up to like 95. He's
Yeah,
he's a
his
solid
fastball was
pitcher.
down a little bit in the first half, but like once he started getting it going again, he's fine.
Yeah, it just didn't give him the depth on the changeup that he wanted. And that's his pitch.
Luis Patino made his debut this past season. Flamethrower throws 100.
I think
100 easy.
you have too many pieces, and right now it's like you're kind of in a weird window where it's like you have young talent and you also have a little bit of aging talent. Not aging, but
I
like
think it's
older talent. I know that's what I'm saying. I think it's a weird window where it's just like you need to kind of go in now and try and win a World Series within the next couple of years, and then you're still going to be competitive for years after that.
I think their window opened up perfectly, and I think they
so
did
too.
this on purpose. They knew this was going to happen eventually.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
it'll be good. I
I can see
really
the
hope they get
Angels
somebody.
too. I think the Angels are going to throw a lot of money at him because they're like, okay, Mike Trout's now 29.
Yeah,
He's not made a playoffs, I think, since I want to say 2012.
it's bad. It's
And it
really
was a wild
bad.
card game they lost.
Yeah, it's really bad. You have the best player in the game, and you're pretty much floating around
Right.
500
Right.
the entire season.
They have good pieces though, on offensively.
Yes.
Rendon, superstar. Trout, generation.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Yeah.
Otani, good hitter
Yeah.
in the lineup. Can pitch. Cannot be a number 1 because he cannot stay healthy.
Think about it.
Just
man.
reality.
If he rehabs correctly, I think that the Tommy John was a little rushed, and I don't know what happened to that man, but something
He did not look
something
good.
was completely off.
Did not look good.
If he's able to come back and pitch and hit on his days off, that puts him at the 1, and you
That
can
puts
ride
him
that kid.
right. Otani has the stuff as a starter to be an easily a number 1.
Yeah,
100 miles an hour. Splitters, fantastic.
they're just so bizarre.
Off
dude.
speed stuff. Slider,
happen.
changeup. Ridiculous stuff. He just gotta stay healthy. I mean, those first 10 starts before he got hurt, they phenomenal.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. And then all of a sudden he comes back after Tommy John surgery and you can't throw a strike. It's like what happened?
I know.
What happened?
Griff Canning has some promise. He is very young. He's 24. So I mean, like, some days he's one of those guys where he can't last 3 innings because he throws a million balls and walks everybody, or he goes 7 scoreless against the Astros.
Yeah.
So
It's
he is a strikeout high volume guy. I like him personally in the rotation for them. But if they go get Bauer, they get a leader in the clubhouse for the rotation. That's important because they don't have a leader.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't.
They're
just a bunch of
I feel like their leader was Dylan Bundy, dude.
Right, exactly. Phenomenal year. Let's not he's great.
I know, but it's
He had a
Dylan
great
Bundy.
year. No, yeah, exactly. Bauer comes in, give him the 4 years, $150 million. Overpay a little bit for him because he's that good.
You need him. You
need
him.
I think the Angels are going to overpay for him, but in a good way. I wouldn't disagree with the move, quite frankly. I think Bauer is going to sit anywhere between a 3 and 4 year contract. I don't know if he's going to go 7.
No, I don't think so. I think he wants. But here's the thing, though. He's at a weird age too. He's 30. He's 30.
I know.
I think part of it is too that he wants the short-term deal so that it's like he's not tied into like some crap team for the rest of his career. And so if you give him 3 or 4, and then it's like, okay, my 3 or 4 years here are done. And if we didn't make the playoffs, fine. Now I can go sign with a contender, at least try and win a ring.
Based on watching his vlogs on YouTube, the Reds seem to also be in the mix, but I saw at the end of the season he looked a little tired of it.
Yeah.
The Reds look great, by the way.
They did.
They look good. They didn't. They were supposed to be way better than they were. Put it together, made the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Louis Castillo, I think he's a top 10 starter in the game.
Yeah. He's a very good pitcher.
Phenomenal. Um, Sonny Gray, great season. Cy
Yeah.
Young caliber. Trevor Bauer, obviously that's a three-headed monster right there in itself.
Yeah.
But I think that he's done with the Reds.
I think
I
it's too,
don't
just
think they're
because
gonna. I don't think they're gonna pay him enough.
that, and I also feel like, especially like mid-season when he's going out and dealing and they can't score
They
a
can't
run,
score.
it's like, why am I even here? This sucks.
I watched
No
each
offense.
week of his starts and him just like sulking, pretty much saying like, guys, and he wasn't putting blame because that's obviously a bad PR move. And you know
Yeah,
what? He's very smart, Trevor
he
Bauer.
is.
Very
He's
smart. He
vocal, but
knows
he's
what
a
he's doing.
smart. Yeah, he's a smart
He
guy. He's
knows
also very
exactly what
vocal.
he wants. And there was a part of me watching those where he's putting up 7 scoreless with 13 Ks and they lose 1-0.
Yeah, it's
You
bad.
can't, as a team, you can't justify that.
Yeah, it was like it was Jacob DeGrom a couple of years ago where he's just dealing,
Same thing.
and you lose a 1-0 game, and he's like,
I,
no offense, but this sucks. Like I can't
I've
do
never seen
this.
something like that. Like he had a 1.7 ERA or 1.8 ERA, and he had like 8 wins.
Yeah, it was bad.
That
It
goes
was
to show
really
you
bad.
that's all in the offense, and the offense probably knows it.
Oh, they do, but it's like,
The stats don't lie, numbers don't
yeah.
lie. I
Granted,
think
some people, but it was bizarre in the fact that the guys that they expect to produce all played like crap
Yep,
the entire season.
it's
It's like
until the end of the year.
how like
Until the end of the year.
yeah.
Realistically, that's what did happen with the Reds. Again, I still think it's promising, even if they let Bauer go, which I think they will. I think Louis Castillo is a number one on the bump every 5 days. The best changeup in the MLB by far.
Yeah, you need to keep him around. He's your guy. He's your Joey
He's got some
Votto, pretty
control left.
much.
I think he's got 3 years left.
I think
Or
so.
2 or 3 years. He came
But
up a little bit. He came up at 24, 25, so I'm pretty sure. But he's a stud.
he
So
is,
I
but
don't
it's
think I think the Reds will want to keep Bauer. I think that I know for a fact that they've had discussions with him.
yeah,
But I just don't think that it's in the cards. I think that the Angels and the Padres definitely need to be there with the Mets in the back end. And I think the
yeah,
Yankees will check in. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think the Yankees will check in because we do need a starter. Not we, the Yankees, but as a fan, we always talk like that.
yeah.
I think that the Yankees do need a number 3 piece. I think Tanaka coming back is a no-brainer. Um,
The Red Sox need a piece too. They need to go check in.
so I was going to say, I think the Red Sox, they're in a weird spot. I think Devers is a great player. I think Bogarts is a great player. But besides that, they don't have that much, especially with JD Martinez declined heavily this past season.
Yeah. Okay.
We cannot fault that. It's 60 games. We don't know what he does in a full 162. Benintendi has looked like a mess the past 2 years, and it stinks because he's talented.
All right. Yeah, Benintendi wasn't great this
It's not a dig. It's
60-game
not a dig.
season.
I'm not even digging. I'm just saying how it is.
He came out of it a little bit toward the second half of the 2019 season.
2019.
Yeah.
That first half 2020 was
Oh, it was horrendous. It was horrendous.
That was awful.
There was nobody in the outfield that could hit.
That's what I was talking about the Red Sox, and I think you'll agree. Sale coming off an injury, we don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to probably say that it's going to be better than not, just because he's Chris Sale. Eduardo Rodriguez coming back. Unfortunately, he struggled with COVID and things like that, which is very unfortunate. But I think him coming back will definitely be a plus for them.
Yeah, and he pitched really well in 2019.
He's good. He's really good.
Find that, and he pitched.
Is he a number 2 starter?
No, he's not. That's why you got to
No,
go
I
get
think
Bauer.
he slots more 3-4.
Yeah, that's why you got to go get Bauer.
Right. I think that the Red Sox have been shown that they'll pay.
Yeah, they'll definitely spend some money, but you also need to kind of look out and see who's going to slot where. Bobby Dahlbeck came up, played really well.
Mm-hmm. They still got a bunch of young guys like Tristan Cassis.
Yeah.
Who else they got? Michael Chavez is pretty good.
Yeah, and he's shown that he can play not only second base but outfield, first base. Big utility guy. He's really solid.
I think they have a good piece. I just don't think that for them personally. I don't think a Bauer signing will make them. I don't think they'll be better than the Yankees, the Rays, and I think they'll probably be even with the Blue Jays.
I don't know. I feel like
No,
I
Bauer will
think
definitely improve their chances, but I'm saying, do you think that they're better than the Yankees and Rays? No, I don't think so.
not bad. It depends. I mean, it just depends who's healthy. I feel like, especially if Chris Sale and Eduardo Rodriguez can stay healthy, that's fantastic. I think Chavis has shown what he can do and had
Sure.
a tough year this year. And the same thing with Benintendi. He had a really tough year. You I think it's better to have a bounce back. If those guys can bounce back and play like half decently well, and Devers really picked up the slack too. He showed what he can do, not only in 2019 but in 2020
Devers
as
is a
well.
stud.
Yeah, and
I
you
think
gave Bogarts
Bogart's
that
the
huge
stud.
deal.
Now,
Yeah,
did you hear by any chance that they're talking about potentially dealing Bogarts? I think that is a
yeah.
no go. I
Well,
think you stay away from that.
The Red Sox were in on Francisco Lindor. They said, based on his
Right.
relationship with Alex Cora, they said it wasn't a priority this offseason to go
I
and
don't think
get
it should
him.
be.
It shouldn't be. I mean, you have a franchise guy in Xander Bogarts, and then it's like, well, where if you say you go out and get Francisco Lindor, let's just play what if. You go and sign Francisco Lindor or trade for Francisco Lindor.
Sure.
You're gonna have to move Bogarts to third base. You're gonna have to have Devers DH, but then it's like now you're playing a dangerous game of
Right.
do I even move Devers? Do you want to move Devers to first base so that he can play every day? And then when JD needs a day off, that he can DH? And it's just like, because if you have Devers DH, you're expecting JD to play in the outfield every single day, and you can't expect that. So now it's like,
Mhm.
who's going to play where? And I want all of these guys in the lineup, but it's not like possible to do.
It's so tough with the Red Sox because I'm seeing that it's like the similar to kind of what the Giants did after many World Series wins. The Red Sox had a few runs, but they kind of you know at the end of their time they kind of threw money into the system a little bit, signing like Longoria or trading for Longoria, signing for these big contracts and of like older players, but trying to stay relevant, and it just didn't work. And I for your sake, I hope that obviously I'm okay with it, but um, the rest that's never the case. That's never the move. The Yankees did that in 2015
Yeah.
after Jeter, retired, after the core four retired officially, and they signed Ellsbury and all those guys, and it didn't work out. I think that the Red Sox need to take a good look. They have a lot of good pieces. Devers is still really young, so I mean he could stay. He'll get a second contract hopefully if he wants to sign there. But I
Yeah.
mean, Devers has 4 years left. Bogart signed a long-term deal. He just got started pretty much. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
you can kind of take a step back, go through some, a rough patch maybe this year and next year, and hopefully by year 3, those two will still be in their primes and still, figure it out.
I
I
think
don't know
so.
if it's just like for me, it's a matter of am I going to sign Bauer, who's very vocal, and if the team doesn't win, um, then you have another issue on your hands. I mean, he's very vocal on social media and things like that, which is not a bad thing in my opinion. I think it's good because MLB needs to do a better job marketing their players, and he does a good job representing, that. Um,
That's true.
but if they go
One of
through
the things
losing
too, though.
patches, he's not going to be happy, and he's going to
Yeah.
voice that.
That's true too. And as much as I want Trevor Bauer in a Red Sox uniform, it goes back to like the personalities. I feel like him and Chris Sale, if things are going awry, are gonna butt heads and just it's not gonna be pretty.
Sure.
You also need you need every single bullpen arm on the market too.
Yeah, you got. I mean, Liam Hendricks could be a move. He's pretty good. He's the top arm on the bullpen.
I mean, you
Brad
need
Hand got
Liam.
released.
Yeah, you need Liam Hendricks. You need Brad Hand. You need Ozuna. You need every single arm on the free agent market pretty much to form a bullpen because this bullpen was ass. It was terrible. That was it. It's just terrible. They flipping stunk. It was so hard to watch.
Oh, for sure.
Every single day. Just like, oh, what's gonna happen today? Who's gonna give up 5 runs in an inning now? Like it
You gave up on this season pretty early.
I did. I knew it was gonna be bad. Like I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, the Red Sox should have made the World Series if this, that, and the other thing. No, this year was chalked from the beginning. You had Chris Sale go down with
yeah, it was
Rodriguez. You got Eduardo Rodriguez with COVID who had to cancel. Who they removed him from the season pretty much because he had heart complications from COVID.
Yeah,
so it's like, okay,
rightfully so.
You lose your 1 and 2. And you have Nate Eovaldi who pitched really well, great, fantastic, but didn't pitched okay. He's Nate Eovaldi. He's a 3.
Right.
Pitched okay as a 1. Like whatever, fine.
He's
But then
not even. He's like a 4 or 5.
yeah, but then you throw in Ron Renicky, who's mixing up this, that, and the other thing, trying to do this bullpen thing with the Rays, and it's shown that it's not working. Guess what
Oh boy,
happened? It didn't
guys,
work.
JMO
Okay,
really showing his feelings on this past season.
dude, it was just such a mess because Keith would text me and be like, "Oh, the Red Sox stink." I'm like, "Yeah, I know that they were gonna stink." Like,
I have to do it, dude. I'm a Yankee fan. It's my duty.
oh my god, it was just total crap. And then of course it's like even when the offense has good days, and it's like they go up and put up 8 runs, and it's like that should be enough to win a ball game, but the bullpen gives up 15. It's like how did this happen?
All right, JMO. You know what? Because we've been on here for quite some time now, and I've had a very good time discussing free agent markets and everything like that. I want to go over kind of one more particular person, kind of we kind of touched on the top three, maybe one more touch on DJ LeMahieu. Do you think he leaves? I don't think he leaves. I think the Yankees are no brainer going to go full send because he was the best player on our team the past 2 years. Third and fourth in the MVP voting the past 2 years with us. I think it's a no-brainer. We signed him to around a 4-year contract, maybe around $75 million. Call it a day.
Yeah, I think that he said that he likes New York. He wants to stay in New York, which is great news for the Yankees. You can hopefully get a hometown discount. Who knows? I think that there should be more teams in on him, especially being an MVP candidate. And
Sure.
I get like, playing in Colorado, like, it inflated.
I saw the Blue Jays as well.
Yeah, I mean, but even now playing with the Yankees, it's like it didn't clearly playing in Colorado didn't affect anything.
No, if anything, he played better with the Yankees.
Yeah, so I think that there should be a lot more teams in than just the Yankees. I think that
There will be.
I think maybe
I just don't think he leaves. I don't think it makes sense for him to leave, and I don't think it makes sense for the Yankees to let him walk.
it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. He should stay, and the Yankees should do their best to keep him. I think if there's another team in the mix that needs a second baseman,
Blue Jays.
yeah, but the Blue Jays have Kevin Biggio too.
He plays third. He plays first and third. He plays all around. He just doesn't play shortstop. He plays literally everywhere else.
I know. I don't know. I think who's even on the first base market? There's probably nobody.
First base?
Yeah, there's nobody. Carlos Santana, Estrella Cabrera, Mitch Moreland, dope. Yeah, there's nobody here.
Honestly, Struble is actually way more underrated than people give him credit for. He hits. He still does,
but it's just not to like the extent that it was. I feel like
no.
Where he was like a 30 home run guy. Obviously, he's older. It's not going to happen, but
no.
It's just this free agent market is so thin. There's nobody like the big teams are going to go out and get the best guys. I
think that's what it is. It's so top heavy. I think that's how it's going to be. I don't think a small market team has a chance with the top 4 guys.
Yeah, in any category, even like looking at shortstops right now, you have Marcus Semien, Didi Gregorius, Andrelton Simmons, and Freddie Galvis, who are all 30 and above. Not very good, to be completely honest with you. Marcus Semien, serviceable. Didi Gregorius, same thing. Andrelton Simmons can't really hit, but a good fielder. And Freddie Galvis, I have no idea what the heck he does.
I will say Semien, Didi, and Simmons are all kind of not the same. Semien is a better bat than both of them.
Yeah.
But Didi and Simmons have a way better glove.
Yeah.
I think probably altogether Simmons and Didi probably are, I wouldn't say better, but I think for depending on what team and what they're looking for, maybe. But Semien probably is going to get the most money out of all of them.
I think so too.
Just based on his hitting ability, it's a lot higher than the other two.
Yeah, he's the youngest as well by a year, not by much.
Yeah,
but
it still counts.
Yeah, it's just tough because it's like just looking at everybody that's a free agent, nobody is like a wow standout guy.
I think besides Real Muto, Trevor Bauer, Springer, and LeMahieu, that's it.
Yeah, everybody's just very okay.
Ozuna's really good though. No, well, Ozuna is also really good, but I think he's going to go back to the Braves.
I think if the Braves miss on Ozuna, they're going to be in some trouble. Because they
I mean, they have a win now team as it is. I mean,
yeah,
Freddie Freeman, Acuna, 2 of the best players in the game, period.
Yeah, I just think if the Braves let Ozuna walk, they're going to be in a load of trouble because he brought so much consistency to that lineup in playing every single day for the most
part. Another bat.
And another bat. And it goes back to one of the things too. It's like the Braves need him way more than he needs the Braves because he can go out and make money anywhere and sign with the contender and be like, yeah, I'm going to put up the same amount of numbers, but the Braves just don't have any like depth in the outfield. It's
No, I
really
agree.
bad. Especially
All
if you look
right.
at it, like Steven Souza didn't really do much, and he's a free agent. Nick Markakis is 37. He's a free agent. It's
Yeah,
just like
it's kind of it's not the most exciting market this year compared to the past year.
it definitely
But
isn't. But like you were saying, it's like there are some players in here that they're not household names, but hopefully I think can make an
yeah, they'll
impact.
be everyone's gonna be the top 10 are gonna be all contributors for a team. But JMO, I think that we've been on here for quite some time. I think we might have to either have this discussion on episode 10, continue it, hopefully get a few more guests on, but we have some more exciting stuff coming in the works.
We do.
You could find us on the War Zone. I mean, the War Zone. Geez, it's a video game. The War Room, on Spotify. This will be coming out. What's Friday, JMO?
Well, I mean, it'll already be out. So go check in next Friday for the next episode. If you're listening to this, on
November 20th.
On the 20th. If you're listening to this on the 20th, you've already missed out. So, if you're listening to it on the 20th, go back and listen to the old episodes. If it's if it's later than the 20th, you've missed out on this episode. So
yeah. So
definitely release
tune
other
some more
ones
on Spotify, YouTube. That's where you can find us. Check the Instagram. Also to announce, we're also going to be bringing up a website soon.
soon.
We're trying to figure out the
logistics.
The moves for that. We got a few new people coming on in terms of writing for us, so we're going to start pumping out some articles and prospect stuff and just some fun, honestly. And we're gonna make it happen.
Yes,
but
sir.
I'm Keith. This is JMO. War Room episode 9 in the books.
And we'll see you in the next one.
See you next one.